Hey, we're here at the Lucas Oil Western Classic for the Wild West Bass Trail. This is our 2017 championship. We're here in Henderson, Nevada at the Convention Center for our pre-angler tournament meeting, and then we're going to be fishing on Lake Mead over this weekend. It's a 3-day tournament. We cut to the top 10 after day 2. These guys have had a couple days to pre-fish out here. This is Super Clean Dobbins Rod Ranger Boat Pro, Jimmy Savoini. How has the pre-fish bite been, Jimmy?
It's been good, and you know, so Lake
That's not what we heard last year, so that's good to hear.
Well, and okay, so it's September, it's 110 degrees, the water temp's 85, 86 degrees, so that's going to put these fish all over the place. Now, what we have going on this year that we haven't had is we have an actual rising water level. You know, it's been dropping when we've been here. And what that does is a lot of the cuts and a lot of the coves, it really tightens up the grass, and you can see these really pronounced mats. Well, the lake's probably come up 4 or 5 feet in the last month. I realize that's not a ton, but on Lake Mead, that makes a big difference because in a lot of these cuts, you've got a lot of vegetation, you've got a lot of willow, and the grass beds and the grass mats are actually, there's room in them now. So as the water pushes back, that's pushing everything back. And it makes the fish a little bit more predictable. Sometimes I think it makes them a little more aggressive, and I've had a good practice. So I anticipate some nice fish being caught. However, this is Lake Mead, and anything can happen. Now, as is the case with Lake Mead, you get 3 days of practice with weather that is ideal, weather that you plan for, and now we're under a flash flood watch for the next 3 days. So, you know, this is a giant lake, and it fishes, one end can fish totally different than the other. It's 60 miles long, and it's got arms all over in it, and so it's anybody's guess as to what can happen. But I feel confident that I can get around them, and if I can get things to go my way, I feel good about it.
Jimmy, on this lake, does rainfall at the moment, like this time of year, help, hurt, or no difference?
Depends on who you talk to, Craig, because you know, for me personally, in September, I like shade and I like wind. You know, we get these heavy monsoon storms. They come in, and they can be really, really brutal. They can whip up 50 miles. I stayed up at Temple Bar, which is about 40 miles up the lake, and we had a storm blow in a couple days ago, and if it wasn't blowing 60, it wasn't blowing. I mean, so you get that kind of stuff going on, and you get lightning, and you get violent weather. It can dirty up the water, it can push bait around, and so I think sometimes that can affect it. Now, if it's not so bad and it's overcast, you get the right breeze and a little bit of rain, well, that might really activate them. So it just, you know, it depends on what kind of weather we're talking about as to how that'll affect the fish. So.
Well, Jimmy, this is going to be an exciting event. We wish you the best of luck, and I want you to look at that camera and plug your new podcast for us, too.
So we got a new podcast going called Fish Recon Podcast, and my colleague Gary Key and I are doing interviews all about bass fishing. We've had Jordan Lee on, we've had some elite guys. We're working on getting Mr. Dobbins and a bunch of people, but we're also doing all kinds of fishing. So a lot of saltwater, a lot of interesting different things. We just interviewed a guy 2 weeks ago that catches marlin and billfish out of a kayak. And so we're putting together this fishing resource and invite everybody to check it out. We've got 10 of them that are out. We release one every week, and we're just having a great time doing it.
And Super Clean stepped up for that as well,
Super Clean
right?
stepped up. They're a sponsor on Fish Recon as well, and we're just trying to pull it all together. Everybody have a good time.
Best of luck this weekend, Jimmy.
Thank you, Craig.
Thank
Appreciate
you
it very much. Thanks.